editing gremlin Neve here. Just wanted to give you a quick editor's note. Audio on Emily's end is a little bit crackly. She might sound like she's underwater or stuck in an old TV. Sorry about this. We didn't want to re-record because it's a really good episode. So I've done my best. She's since purchased a new microphone, so we're not going to have to deal with this again. Okay? Oh, hey there, spooky listener. Good news. You still have some time before the episode starts if you want to scroll up and hit that follow or subscribe button, depending on whatever platform you're listening to this on. We have no preference. They're all good. If you're feeling really generous, you can even leave us a little review. We like 5-star ones the best. And tell us why you like the podcast. If you don't like the podcast, that's cool, but why are you listening? There's loads of other stuff to listen to out there. If you want to send us a little more detailed feedback, we have a dedicated email address. It's rowanandpinepod@gmail.com. The and is spelled out, so it's Rowan, A-N-D, pinepod@gmail.com. And also, please use that for spooky stories and encounters and stuff that you just want us to talk about on the pod. And failing all that, if email's not really your thing, you can always find the links to any of our socials in the link tree that's in the description of every episode. Please follow us on Instagram, Facebook, Discord, whatever it is that you like to use. And make sure to tag us if you're recommending the pod. Also memes. Did you get all that? Good. Okay, start the intro music. Isn't it kind of ironic as somebody who absolutely hates making phone calls that I opted to do this as a hobby?
I mean, I don't like making phone calls either, but it is weird too because I also hate my voice.
Yeah.
And then I'm just like, how would I do a podcast?
Yeah. Ewan used to make fun of me. It was most of my work was calling people and answering the phone. He used to laugh you hate all of that. And I'm like, yeah, I know. It's off.
I worked downtown for a little bit shortly after I moved here. And it started out as just sort of I was just making a spreadsheet of all these hospitals that offered certain services. And then towards the end of the job, they were like, okay, now you have to call all of these hospitals.
No.
And I was like, I didn't want to I got hung up on all the time because people thought I was just soliciting things. I'm like, no, I'm just trying to verify that we can publish you on this list.
Yeah, I just can't, call center jobs where you are dealing with irate customers. That sounds like a special kind of hell for me. So anybody who works that, my heart goes out to you because that is absolutely abhorrent. Because I've heard the way people speak to people who work in call centers, because you used to work from home as a customer service person, and the stuff I used to hear people calling him because their sofa hadn't been delivered yet. I was like,
oh my gosh.
Dear Lord, get your priorities.
Yeah. I know, I understand being upset about those things, but when you have to take it out on somebody who's innocent in the process.
Which is probably why I don't get very far on those calls, because I'm always really nice to those people, and I'm just I know it's not your fault, but you triple charged us
pretty
for
much.
Electricity. It's always something that's I'm I'm really sorry to bother you, but please, could you fix this?
I've learned how to be stern but apologetic, I guess. But I've had to I think we were just talking about it recently, is how when I was younger, I had a really awful health scare and I thought I was going to die. And the doctors were like, have you tried an acid reducer? And then I was just taking an acid reducer and it was not working. And I ended up calling a nurse and I just started crying. And she was like, oh my God. And she goes, it sounds like your quality of life is pretty bad right now. And I was like, yes, it's awful. I was like, I need something to happen. Mm-hmm. This is not working. And that finally got the ball rolling and I got tested and found out I had a weird esophageal disorder. But anyway, my name's Emily.
It's
my co-host here is Naam.
I am Naam. Also, Naomi, Nymph, Naima, Naomi. It's all just attention seeking. That's why I spell it that way. Everybody knows. And this is Rowan and Pine, and welcome to October.
Spooky season.
I was going to say this will be our first episode out in October, but we actually have our second part of Appalachia going out at the start of October.
Yeah, it's wild because when did we record the Appalachia episode? Like
Yeah,
July.
and then my life
It was a
my
while
life
ago.
fell apart, and
Yeah.
yeah, it just didn't it sort of sat as files on my laptop for a while, so sorry about that.
Which is totally fine.
But hey, that's what happens when you get like free content and the people who are doing it don't get paid.
Yeah, pretty
This
much.
is a hobby.
It's a hobby. We're making nothing
Yeah,
off of this
we
show.
do this out of love.
We do. And hopefully you love it.
Yeah, hopefully you love us. Please love us. We're so desperate for love.
Maybe you. I think I'm good.
You're good for love.
I'm good for love. I have a child who needs me 24/7.
Yeah,
so.
I say that as somebody, if like anybody would be that I don't know really well is over familiar with me, I'm like, oh god, who is this person? Get away.
Right.
Like people who don't really know you who insist on hugging, you're like, what? No. Like you don't, like we've met twice.
Or people who don't really know you who call you on the phone.
Oh my god, yeah. See, people who know me know not to do that. It's like, this is how I know you don't know me.
I only like talking on the phone if you have to talk to somebody about like multiple things, like really quick. Like, okay, really quick, like where are we going tonight and what time, and are you bringing the food or am I bringing the food, like stuff like that. It's like, oh, okay, cool, bye.
You know what I always see, and I always think like that just never occurs to me. People who clearly just call their friend because they're bored. Like people will be grocery shopping and they're just on the phone because they're bored. Or like I always see people on the treadmill on the phone. I'm
weird.
like, what? First of all, nobody wants to hear me wheezing down the phone at them.
Or you're doing that awkward thing where you're like, you talk a little bit and then you catch your breath.
Yeah, exactly. Now, in saying that, I do send voice clips when I'm out walking because that's when I think, and I always remember like to tell people stuff when I'm out walking, which I am incredibly sorry to everybody who gets my voice clips because it's usually 30% wind. Because I'll be like, it'll be like, I'm like, sorry, I'm out walking. You're like, really?
Yeah, I can vouch for that. I get Neve's walking clips.
Sometimes I'll put you inside my coat. And I'm like, sorry, you're in my coat.
Is that why it sounds muffled?
Yeah, because you're inside my coat. You're close to me.
Close to your heart.
Emily, what is this episode about? Because I don't know.
It is about haunted dolls.
Oh, sweet. Oh, this is great. Oh, I'm so excited.
I hope you're excited because I was excited doing the research. It was so much fun. And, you know, spooky season, we need a spooky topic. And what's spookier than haunted dolls? Because nobody likes dolls except for me because I'm a weirdo.
And also, I'm going to hashtag Barbie in all of our promo for this, even though Barbie won't be in this. Because, like, we might as well cash in on the year of our Lord Barbie.
Oh, yeah, true. Yeah. Good call.
I'm the marketing genius here.
You are. She's the one who does all the very important work. I'm the one who's like, I'll draw the pictures.
Emily's the visual creative. She's the talent. I'm the one like, what if we do this? And then I realize I really have taken on way too much. I do more than I should be. So we're like, I'm going to start a new feature on our Discord.
By the way, goat cheese. No, I'm just kidding.
Goat cheese.
Yeah, so I have a fascination with dolls and puppets and stuff like that. I get thrown off when people are like, "Oh my god, I hate dolls. I think they're so scary." I'm like,
that's why I
like them. I would be that person who has like the room in their house that just has like dolls and shit in it. Because I'm a weirdo. This is like when you and I were talking about how the whole like everybody wants a goth girlfriend until they do goth girlfriend things.
Yeah, the reality of having a goth girlfriend is like, have you seen my taxidermy doll? You're like, please put that somewhere. Right. I can't look at it.
Because yeah, everybody's like, oh, I want the like hot spooky chick who wears like the leather strappy stuff and whatever. But then when you do goth girl things, they're not as interested. It's like,
what do you mean you don't want to come with me and like read old gravestones? Like that sounds like an amazing day out.
What do you mean you don't want to see my doll collection?
Have you ever seen or like read about the symbolism of old gravestones? Like there's certain like
No.
archetypes and like symbols on some of them, say from like 19th century, and it's some of it's to do with faith, like whatever faith the person was. Or like, just like the very basic example is like if it's a dead child, they're usually cherubs, on the
Okay.
headstone.
Interesting.
Obviously a lot more into that, but it's so long since I read or heard this, and I've got the memory of a goldfish. But yeah, super interesting. I'm gonna find some and I'll put them up as like some of our little fun fact or something. There I am, making more work for myself.
There you are. It's fine. We're trying to build an
Yeah.
empire, so a podcast empire.
Yeah, tell me about your dolls.
Haunted dolls. The first doll that I'm going to talk about is probably the most popular. Let's see if you can guess.
Annabelle?
Yes.
Woo!
Everybody's heard of her. She's not the same doll that was in The Conjuring.
Mm-hmm.
She is a Raggedy Ann doll. And
they made her like way creepier in The Conjuring. Like
they
more
really did.
classic, like, is she a porcelain doll in The Conjuring? Because porcelain dolls are like more inherently creepy.
Yeah, she's a porcelain doll.
I had a porcelain doll as a kid, and I remember my cousin staying over in my house and asking me to like put it away because it was like right in her eye line as she was like falling asleep. And she's like, "Can you please?" I'm like, sure. I forget it's there, but like in fairness, it was on like a really high shelf and just like looming over the bed. So if you're not into dolls, I'm sure that was an absolutely awful experience for her. So
I would be like, "What? You're afraid of a doll?"
And then like quietly get up and move it while she's asleep.
Oh my god. Then it would be scary.
Yes, and hilarious for me.
So, Annabelle the doll is, as I said, a Raggedy Ann doll, and she's locked away in a glass case due to reports of her being haunted and dangerous. Ed and Lorraine Warren sealed her away in the case with a crucifix above her head, religious imagery around the case, complete with a sign that says, "Warning, positively do not open." Annabelle's full origin story is not known, but what is known is that there was a woman named Donna who was a student nurse. Donna lived with her friend Angie, and for Donna's birthday, her mother bought her a second-hand Raggedy Ann doll. Donna loved the gift and set her doll onto her bed in her apartment. Kind of weird because she's like almost 30 years old, and like her mom gave her a doll.
Yeah, and like this is not to get true crimey because we had that whole rant about it last time. There's for some reason that just completely like brought back memories of, Lucy Letby. Did you see us talking about Lucy Letby?
No.
It's this absolutely horrible story. Trigger warning for anybody listening. She was recently convicted of the murder of 7 premature babies in the UK.
Oh God.
She was a NICU nurse.
Wow.
And she was like overdosing them on medication, etc., etc. But there are photos of her bedroom, and she is the same age as you, I think. So she's like a year younger than me. And her bedroom is like covered in dolls and toys and all of that kind of stuff. And like,
weird.
You would sort of understand if she was still living at home with her parents or something like that. But this is her own house that she bought herself. And she like moved out and she almost has it decorated like a child's bedroom. It's very strange.
So she likes dolls.
Yeah, so she liked dolls, but yeah, there's obviously something amiss there, and I hope she never gets out of prison.
Yeah, good riddance. I hope they beat the shit out of you in there.
Oh, they absolutely will. Okay.
Anywho.
Die trash.
Angie and Donna started noticing that the doll, Annabelle, wouldn't always be where she had been left. It wasn't extreme at first, but sometimes Annabelle would have been placed on a chair and ended up on the floor. Her legs would be crossed when she was set down She would be set down, like normal without her legs crossed, and then her legs would be crossed. Or she would be on her side. These movements were easy to excuse. Like, she could have fallen, she could have tipped over, whatever.
Mm-hmm.
But then it started getting weirder. Donna would have Annabelle in her room, and she would end up outside of Angie's door. Or they would leave her in a chair, and she would end up on the bed. This is when they started to suspect that something strange was happening.
Yeah. See, like, at the very least, somebody's fucking with them, which is also a little bit terrifying.
Right.
Or at the most, the doll's freaking haunted.
Yeah.
There's no good scenario here.
Yeah. The activity soon picked up even more. The young women began finding notes around their apartment written on parchment paper. Both Angie and Donna found this strange because neither of them used or owned parchment paper. There was none in the apartment.
That's weirdly specific.
Right. The notes would read, "Help us" or "Help me." And then, one day, Annabelle appeared to be leaking blood. And if that wasn't creepy enough, Angie and Donna had a friend named Lou who was taking a nap at the apartment, and when he woke up, the doll was staring at him, and he was feeling like he was being strangled.
No.
He found a bunch of scratch marks on his chest as well, with no idea where they came from.
Jesus Christ.
This led to the women reaching out to a medium to try to figure out if there was a spirit haunting the Annabelle doll. The psychic determined that the doll was being haunted by the spirit of a 7-year-old girl named Annabelle Higgins. She believed that Annabelle was a girl who died on the property before the apartment buildings were built, and that she attached herself to the doll because she liked the women and wanted to be loved.
That's a weird way of going about it, Annabelle. I know you're 7, but, like, try not to scratch people in their sleep and leak blood. Like, what are you doing?
Don't leak blood or strangle people, please.
Yeah, that's, basic etiquette. Leaking blood, just a big no-no.
You're scaring people. They won't love you anymore.
Can you please stop leaking blood?
Yeah. The women gave Annabelle permission to stay possessing the doll in their apartment, but then things got worse. This is when Ed and Lorraine Warren took an interest in the Annabelle doll.
Sorry, should we have a little jingle for the Warrens now? When they get introduced on the podcast. It's the Warrens!
The Warrens! They're coming to find your ghost.
And they're gonna get rid of it and not look as sexy as they do in the movies.
The Warrens!
Is that their TV show intro?
Yeah. Jazz hands. So they took an interest in the Annabelle doll. I think I said that. But when they began investigating, they, quote, came to the immediate conclusion that the doll itself was not, in fact, possessed, but manipulated by an inhuman presence. And that the spirit didn't want to stay possessing a doll, but wanted to possess a human host.
Oh, so it's like, ooh, sweet nurse body. Nice.
You know how many people I could jump on through those hands?
First of all the guys with nurse kinks, and then all the people at the hospital. It's just a great portal. You gotta think like a demon.
And this podcast took a turn.
Nurse kinks.
Rated X. The Warrens took the doll, and Ed decided it would be best to avoid highways as they made their way back to their house. He was worried that Annabelle might cause chaos and get them into an accident. And he wasn't wrong. The couple experienced a lot of car trouble on the way home. Their brakes failed, power steering failed, and the car stalled multiple times. They ended up sprinkling holy water on Annabelle to try to get her to calm down and stop causing car problems.
See, that would just annoy me more. Like, don't splash water on me. Like, stop it.
When the Warrens got home, Ed put Annabelle on his desk, and before long he regretted it, as she had been seen levitating above the desk.
Oh, Jesus Christ. Levitating! No!
A Raggedy Ann doll just levitating.
Not the levitation. Me nerves.
They would put the doll in one room, and she would be found in another. Thinking that the doll was possessed by a demon, they called in a priest. The priest did not take it seriously and was involved in a rollover accident with a tractor trailer on his way home. He survived but was badly injured. Another, a man and his girlfriend, mocked Annabelle when they visited her in the museum. The couple were involved in a motorcycle accident after leaving. The man died and the woman was badly injured.
Oh, Jesus.
Though Ed and Lorraine Warren have both passed away, Annabelle the doll remains in their occult museum in Connecticut to this day.
And we're all fucked if that glass ever breaks.
If she's really, like, that powerful and that evil, can't she just break the glass?
Yeah, it's a bit odd. Like, is it like special tempered glass? Is it like bulletproof?
Like the Pope mobile.
Yeah, it would be so hard as well, like if you went to like visit her, not to tap it a little bit, on the glass.
Yeah. But they say if you torment her and play with her and mock her, that bad things will happen when you leave.
Yeah, this is how I end up. You know those people in like horror movies where you're just like, you're so stupid. I would be the stupid person.
Yeah, I'm the person who's like, could be true, could be not true. I'm not going to mess with it. Our next one is another fairly famous doll, but not as famous as Annabelle. Do you know who this one might be?
I can't remember his name, but I'm picturing a little sailor doll.
Yep,
Boy.
Robert the doll.
Robert! Robert is such like a not... Like Annabelle, that sounds like a haunted doll name. Robert is just like some guy from work.
Robert in accounting.
Yeah. Robert's always late.
Yeah, it's so funny because yesterday Medarda was asking me what I'm doing for this episode. And I was like, oh, I'm doing haunted dolls. And he was like, Annabelle? And I said, yes. And I was like, another one? He goes, oh, that weird. He looks like a pirate and his face is all messed up.
A pirate?
I was like, well, it's a sailor uniform, but yes. So I'm proud of you both.
Yay.
You got the most popular ones.
I love that neither of us, even though it was such an easy name, neither of us actually remembered it.
Right.
We're like, the sailor kid,
Yeah. The sailor kid with the holes in his face.
Ugh. Creepy little bastard.
He is kind of creepy looking. So, Robert the doll. He's a cloth doll wearing a sailor's outfit, complete with a sailor's cap. He has black button eyes and looks somewhat friendly aside from the holes in his face.
Oh.
Makes me wonder, it's like, was that like moths or something that like were eating at this doll?
Yeah, maybe that's why he's such a little dick.
It's like, they're eating my face!
Nobody cares.
Yeah. Robert's story begins in the early 1900s when a little boy named Eugene, also Gene, Robert Otto, was gifted a one-of-a-kind handmade doll by his grandfather. The doll traveled all the way from Germany. Eugene, or Gene, named his doll Robert after himself and became very attached to an unhealthy degree. The first frightening incident with Robert was one night when Gene was in bed. His mother assumed he was asleep, but he was not. 10-year-old Gene was frightened by Robert sitting on the foot of his bed, staring at him.
Always the staring when you're trying to sleep. Like, what are you doing?
Yeah. Gene's mother was startled when she heard her son screaming for help, followed by the sounds of furniture being thrown around in his room. When she was finally able to get the door open, she saw her son curled up in terror in his bed, the room in shambles, and Robert sitting at the foot of his bed. The only words that came out of Gene's mouth were, "Robert did it."
Oh.
Spooky.
See, it's like, when there's like creepy kids, and we always talk about like creepy kids when they have like an imaginary friend. Is it worse when he has something to actually point to?
Yes.
Yeah.
100% yes.
Yeah.
Gene's parents said that they would often hear Gene talking to the doll, and there would be a response in a voice that definitely didn't belong to Gene.
No.
Yeah. They also reported seeing Robert speak, his expression changing, him sitting in the window, and even Robert giggling and scurrying up the stairs.
No. Burn the house down, burn the doll, burn the stairs.
Yeah.
Cut his legs off.
Atomic bomb. No.
Salt the earth.
Oppenheimer. Just kidding.
Call Oppenheimer. I have not seen Oppenheimer.
Another hashtag.
Yeah, we're just gonna capitalize on like the now fading out Barbenheimer thing.
Yeah. Gene grew up with Robert. He always had the doll. He took Robert everywhere he went and would talk about the doll in first person as if the doll were a human. When Gene moved out, he got married to a woman named Anne, and eventually, when his parents passed away, he moved himself and Anne into his parents' house. Gene insisted that Robert needed his own room. Anne, however, didn't even want Robert in the house.
Yeah, see, Anne's the sane person here.
Right.
Also, I don't love anyone enough to put up with their haunted doll. See, if Ewan came to me and he was like, "This is my haunted doll," I'd be like, okay, and this is the divorce papers?
Yeah, filing for divorce.
Yeah, I'm very sorry this doesn't work out, but I hope you and your doll are very happy together. And
you and your doll.
yeah. And never contact me ever again. Bye.
Okay, see ya. But Anne said that something about the doll made her uneasy, but she wasn't able to put her finger on why. She asked Jean to lock Robert away in the attic, and Jean agreed. Before long, it became obvious that Robert was unhappy in his place in the attic. People would come over and hear footsteps in the attic. The footsteps seemed to be pacing back and forth, accompanied by devilish giggling.
What's he laughing at? There's nothing funny up in that attic.
There's nothing funny. You're locked in the attic, Robert.
Stop giggling, you big weirdo.
Tiny weirdo.
Tiny weirdo.
He's a doll.
Apparently wearing shoes.
Yeah.
If he can be heard. Take his shoes off, then he'll not be so smart.
The children in the neighborhood told Jean that they had seen Robert in the window and that he was mocking the children as they walked to school. Jean was
He's
certain
the one
that
locked in an attic. What's he mocking them for?
Yeah. Jean was certain that he locked Robert in the attic, but he ended up finding Robert sitting in a rocking chair next to the bedroom window.
Robert, give it a rest. That's enough.
Just chill out, Robert.
Yeah.
Smoke a doob. I don't know.
Yeah.
Jean locked Robert back up in the attic multiple times, and each time Robert ended up back in the same rocking chair, sitting outside the same window.
Burn the chair.
Burn the chair, burn the doll, blow it up, Oppenheimer.
Mm-hmm.
In 1974, Jean passed away, leaving Robert in the attic. The new homeowners had a 10-year-old daughter who was excited to find a doll to play with.
No,
But her excitement changed to fear as she began telling her parents that Robert the doll wanted to kill her.
Oh, so he was up front with her.
Yeah.
What
He's
a
like,
little
listen.
misogynist. He's like, a girl, I'm just going to tell her I'm going to kill her.
Yeah. She
Listen,
would cry in fear as she... What?
I was like, listen, you're going to die. Which state was this in? Should I be doing an accent?
It's in Florida.
Oh, I don't know the Florida accent.
She would cry in fear as she claimed Robert moved around her room in the night. Robert the doll was soon given away. He now lives in a museum in Fort East Martello, Florida. People who come to see Robert in his case claim that if they try to take a picture of him, their cameras won't work, and then they begin working as soon as they leave the museum.
Ugh.
You're also supposed to ask Robert for permission if you want to take his photo. A lot of people write letters to Robert. These letters are mostly apologies for disrespecting Robert when they came to visit. The people tell him they're sorry for taking his picture and that their lives have been nothing but bad luck since they saw Robert.
Oh, Jesus. What is with these dolls? Like, maybe Robert and Annabelle should, like, get together and just be happy with each other.
I was going to say, put them in a glass case together, but then who knows if they'll join forces.
Yeah, actually, yeah, that's true. Maybe that's a bad idea. See, this is also why I'm the bad horror movie person. I'm like, put the two haunted items together. Nothing bad can come of that.
The museum employees claim to sometimes see Robert smile or put his hands up to the glass case.
Oh, fuck. No.
The museum was able to trace Robert's origin to the Steiff Company, which my daughter somebody gave us a Steiff teddy bear for her.
Lock it in the case.
It's cute. She loves it.
This is how the Robert story started.
No, listen. So the Steiff Company, they're the ones who made the original teddy bears.
Mm-hmm.
The representative of Steiff said that Robert was going to be used for a window display and was never meant to be sold. There is speculation on why Robert the doll became the little trickster that he is. Some people think that a voodoo curse was placed on Robert by the family's servant because she was being mistreated by the family.
Good for her.
What the true story is, though, no one will ever know.
Ooh. Shivers. He's a little asshole. That's what's wrong. Spoiled.
The next dolls are not as well known. I had never heard of them.
Okay. I probably have not.
Yeah. Probably not.
You're now the expert in my life on haunted dolls, so.
I am?
Well, because of this.
It's like because of this episode, or like you always thought that?
Emily just seems like a haunted doll kind of a person.
Yeah. I mean, I am, but...
I was just going to say, I could see you just going to thrift stores and just picking up like the unloved haunted dolls and being like,
pretty much.
I'm going to wash her. I'm going to give her a home.
I do, like, when I do go to, like, thrift stores or like vintage stores. I'm like, oh, this is cool. And people are just like, okay, Emily, let's go home now. I'm like, what?
Have you seen there's like it must be like one of those family accounts or something, but it's actually very sweet. There's this baby and her favorite doll is one of those, you know, really creepy haunted dolls where they've like painted it to look like undead.
I think you sent that to me. It looks like a little like zombie
Yeah.
doll.
And the baby loves it.
Yeah. And her like older sister was like, oh, can we get this for the baby? And the parents are like, okay. But then the baby's like super excited to see this like creepy doll.
Yeah, you expect it to go the complete opposite way.
Right, like she's gonna scream, but she's stoked on that doll.
Nice.
That would have been me probably as a kid. I was like weird and I liked all the weird, creepy stuff. Our next doll on this list is Ruby the doll. Probably haven't heard of her.
Mm-mm.
Ruby the doll has been passed around a lot. No one who owned Ruby ever felt comfortable putting her on display, so she was kept in boxes, basements, and attics. There are many reports of Ruby moving from room to room on her own. People also report that when they hold Ruby, they are overcome with intense sadness and sometimes extreme nausea.
Oh, fuck.
The owners who gave the doll to the Traveling Museum of Paranormal and Occult said that Ruby belonged to a little girl who died while holding her.
No.
Yeah.
So she's like a totem almost? Like she's probably taken on like the spirit or something?
Possibly.
Yeah.
These stories are a little shorter. There's not as much information on these guys. So the next one is Lily the doll. Lily is a German doll from the 1800s with real human hair who now lives in wonderful Mr. Zach Bagans' Haunted Museum. We love Zach Bagans. When my funny little side story is when my mom was here last, she was like, she knows that I like ghost shows and creepy stuff, and so we were just like hanging out on the couch, and she's like, oh, I had stopped and like on the Ghost Adventures thing. I wasn't really looking at it, but she was like, we can watch this show, and I was like, okay. And then we turned it on, and my mom was just like, she's looking at me like, I was like, yeah, this show is entertainment.
Yeah, I don't think I've ever actually seen it. Like I know like the name.
Yeah.
Like, but I don't think I've ever actually watched it. So it's like it's all like hammed up, is it?
Super, super hammed up. And because they'll be like, bro, did you just hear that? Oh my god. Like it's bad.
Sounds a little bit like Most Haunted, that like I think I told you about. Like they would like go around like different like locations, and like all of a sudden like the medium would be overcome, and he's like this guy in his like mid-50s from Liverpool, and he's like speaking like a little boy, and you're like, in any other context this would be so awkward. What are you doing, Derek Acora?
Yeah, that's pretty much how it is. Yeah, they're very, very, very dramatic and very over the top, and it's wild. It's definitely something to watch if you want to laugh, not necessarily if you want to see creepy stuff.
Yeah. That's what BuzzFeed Unsolved is like, or it's now like the Ryan and Shane from BuzzFeed Unsolved now have their own thing because they did the inevitable thing of leaving BuzzFeed. But yeah, it's just like it's more like funny than scary because like I don't know if you've ever seen like any of their ghost hunting, but it's like the whole premise is that Ryan is a believer but Shane is a skeptic. Okay. And like they'll hear a noise and Ryan is like having a full breakdown and he's like, oh my god, like, and he's freaking out and trying to get away, and Shane's just standing there like making jokes. And he's just like, oh wow, a bang in an old house where a lot of things fall over all the time.
Oh my god.
It's really good.
Funny.
Yeah.
Back to Lily.
Yeah, tell me about Lily.
So, as I said, she's from the 1800s, has real human hair. She came from Salem, Oregon.
There's another Salem?
Yeah.
Wow, I didn't know that.
An antique dealer found her hidden in a chest and decided to take her home. Once in possession of the doll, he began having recurring nightmares about a little girl who had, quote, a very bad accident. He put Lily the doll in his antique shop where one day a little girl came in and carried on for 3 hours talking to Lily as though she were a child. The antique dealer...
No.
What?
was going to say, that's what gets you barred from an antique shop. I'd be like, restraining order.
Get her out of here, even though she's a small girl. The antique dealer and others who were shopping stared in amazement. The little girl then told the shop employees that Lily was a little girl who had been subjected to extreme violence. Zach Baggins acquired Lily the doll from a woman who, when she pulled the doll from the shelf, began to panic, feel sharp pains in her stomach, and repeated, "I must wash my hands, I must wash my hands." She then became immobilized.
Oh, that's like sad.
Yeah.
That one's making me sad.
Yeah. So, now she lives with old Zach. I call him Zach Bagels. Like old Zach Bagels instead of Zach Baggins. Cute, right? Anyway.
You're like, you're giving me nothing here. So I'm like, I don't know what to say. I don't know, Zach Bagels.
Does he like cream cheese?
They should don't pronounce it bagel like they do in some parts of Canada.
Oh yeah, I hate when people say bagel.
Yeah, it's really odd.
Like this,
and they'll say it with like a complete straight face, and I'm like, do you not hear what you just said? That's so odd.
There's not two G's in it.
Yeah.
So, like, I'm from Minnesota, and in Minnesota, a lot of people say bag instead of bag.
Mm-hmm.
And it's really funny because Medardo will always be like, "What? A bag?" And I'm like, I don't say bag, I say bag, like a normal person.
When I worked like retail in Toronto, like, you know, you're asking people, do you want a bag? So I'd be like, do you want a bag? And they'd be like, what? And I'd be like, would you like a bag? And they'd be like, what? And I'd be like, would you like a bag? And they're like, oh yeah. It's what I said.
Yeah, I had that. So one of my friends from Minnesota came to visit me here in Chicago, and we went out and we got food, and then she wanted to get a bag because she had like multiple boxes of food. Mm-hmm. And she went up to the guy and she's like, "Can I get a bag?" And he goes, "What?" And she's like, "A bag." And he's just like looking at her like so confused. And then I like popped up next to her and I was like, "She's asking for a bag." And he's like, "Oh, okay." And it was just so funny because I'm just like, it's different, but I feel like it doesn't sound that different. You know what I mean?
Yeah. And you think like from context, people would be able to sort of pick up what you're saying.
Right? It's so weird.
Yeah, like what else would she be asking for?
Yeah, so weird. Our next doll on the list is Letta the doll.
Letta?
Yeah, just wait. In 1972, Kerry Walton, an Australian man, was in Wagga Wagga, who knows, New South Wales for his grandmother's funeral when he decided to check out the neighboring house that always creeped him out. There, he found a creepy-looking wooden doll and decided to take it home with him. I will post a photo of this doll. It creeps me out, and I'm not creeped out by dolls.
A wooden doll?
A wooden doll. It has this, like, very, like, caricature, clowny, like, looking face. It's good tense.
I think the fuck not. Like, what? Wooden doll!
Yeah.
No. This is why, like, even Pinocchio, like, those live-action things of Pinocchio, I don't like those.
Well, you wouldn't like my puppet collection, then.
Do they all look like wooden dolls?
No, I actually...
made it from wood?
No. I have a stuffed animal rabbit puppet for the baby. And okay. I have, like a unicorn marionette puppet for her.
Yeah.
Which Medardo was playing with her when she was, like, doing her tummy time. And she was, like, following it. He was like, look, she likes it. Oh. It was pretty cute.
You see, that's cute. Like, marionettes and stuff. But it's just, like, you know, oddly, like, lifelike wooden children, basically. Please no.
Okay, I have to show you this doll, like, right now, because...
Yeah, I wanna see him. Oh, Jesus fucking Christ. Why does it look so mature? I was expecting a childlike doll.
No, it looks like a grown man, like, it's weird.
It needs Botox. Like, it has wrinkles.
Yeah.
What the fuck?
So
that hairline, though.
So that's our friend Letta.
Let her know. Let me get you the hell out of here.
So this guy, Kerry, he decided to take this doll home. He put the doll in his trunk and headed home to Brisbane. Or do they call it, like, Brisbane?
Brisbane.
In Australia? Mm-hmm. Sorry, everyone. He then heard movement and a scream come from the trunk. "Let me out," which gave the doll its name, Letta. Let me out. Maybe it's Italian.
Maybe it is. It looks Italian.
The doll is said to move around Carrie's house or move around in front of other people. There have been scuff marks left around his house that match the bottom of Letta's shoes. Carrie said that he is...
What? Who is putting shoes on these dolls? It's not nice. Anytime they have shoes, it just makes everything worse.
Well, why would you put clothes on them, an entire outfit, and not give them shoes? Just barefoot dolls? I think that's weirder.
Yeah, actually, that's true, because they might leave like claw marks from their little weird finger toes or something.
Their talons. Carrie said he has never been able to get rid of the doll, even when he tried. At one point, his family was suffering financial hardship, so he tried to sell the doll for $400. When it came down to it, he said it was almost as if an unseen force was stopping him, and he didn't end up selling the doll. Carrie said he had the doll examined to determine where it came from. It's said that the doll is 200 years old and has real human hair that belonged to Eastern European gypsies.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
Upon further examination, he says that he found out the doll is haunted by the spirit of a young boy who drowned. According to Carrie, he says the gypsies placed the spirit of the boy inside of the doll, and this is why it always rains when he travels with Letta.
Letta can control the weather, so we have dolls that can, like, cause car accidents, dolls that can create, like, bad luck for people who take photos of him, and then this one is controlling the weather.
Yeah, they're pretty powerful.
Christ. I'm assuming that, like, having, like, if they're haunting, like, the dolls, like, having, like, a concentration of all of their energy, maybe that's helping them be powerful.
Yeah, like they have one job.
Yeah.
You got one job, and it's the weather. Big job, though.
Yeah.
The last one is not really a haunted doll, but is the Island of the Dolls. Have you heard of this place?
Funnily enough, BuzzFeed Unsolved did an episode where they went there.
Of course.
Yeah. It's creepy as fuck, because they went there at night, and they were, like, showing it in torchlight.
I have to check that out. Because this is, I heard about this a long time ago. It's very fascinating. So the Island of the Dolls, also known in Spanish as La Isla de las Muñecas, is located on an island of Texulia Lake. I'm not sure if that's the pronunciation. I tried to look it up, but couldn't find it. The story goes that in the mid-20th century, a man named Julian Santana Barrera left his wife and kids at their home in Mexico City, Mexico, to sequester himself on an island. When he arrived to the island, he found the body of a little girl who had drowned in the lake. Within minutes of his discovery, a doll floated up to him, and he took it as a sign. He hung the doll up to appease the spirit of the drowned girl and became obsessed. Barrera considered himself the caretaker of the island and felt that one doll was not enough. It became his life's mission to carry the memory of this little girl and honor her. For the next 50 years, he continued collecting dolls from all over the place, in different states of destruction. He would scrounge trash cans and hang up decapitated dolls, arms, legs, torsos, any part of the doll that he could find. A lot of people, including his own family, didn't know if they believed that this girl ever existed. They don't know if he imagined it, made it up, or was somehow mistaken. Whether or not the girl was real, he devoted the rest of his life to collecting dolls and hanging them around his island. In 2001, Barrera's body was found, drowned in the canal, in the exact same spot he claimed to have found the drowned little girl.
Oh, God.
Yeah.
That's especially creepy.
Yeah.
Like, same
so
method,
it's not a
same
haunted
place.
doll, but it is dolls, and it is creepy.
Yeah. Doll related.
Doll adjacent.
We'll have to put up, like, pictures of the doll, like, island, because so many of the dolls have been exposed to the elements.
Yeah, they look awful.
Yeah. They're, like, some of them are, like, basically rotting.
Yeah.
Like, where they are. And I think some tourists, if they can, like, manage to visit the island, they've started bringing dolls as well.
Yeah, I read that too.
So, like, there's some dolls that, like, look newer than others as well, which sort of adds to the macabre, like, nature of the place. Yeah. And also, apparently, it's, like, eerily silent on that island.
Oh,
it's, like,
interesting.
very, very quiet. Yeah, when you get there. Because there's probably, like, you know what, like, I dread to think what all of that plastic and like man-made stuff has done to the environment there, because it's essentially trash.
Yeah, truly.
Like,
I didn't even think about that aspect. I was like, people are probably really freaked out.
probably, I was just gonna say, like, there's like probably not a whole lot of like wildlife activity there, because of all of the dolls and everything.
The birds are like side-eyeing the dolls. You're like, wait a second.
Well, like a sad and strange story,
right? And the fact that his family is like, we don't even know if this is like real. We don't know if this little girl ever existed. It's kind of like,
yeah, because if he found the body of a little girl, like, he would assume that he would have had to contact authorities or something.
Yeah. It's also Mexico, though, so it's like a little different. But this was in the 50s. I don't know. I know Mexico now is like pretty wild, but well, mid-century. I'm assuming it's like the 50s, 60s.
Mm-hmm.
Who knows? So yeah, that was my episode on haunted dolls.
Thank you so much for creeping me the fuck out, and now I'm going to be listening for weird little scurrying feet all around the place.
You have dolls in your place?
No. We have some cat toys.
I was gonna say, you do have cats as well, so...
Yeah, little scurry feet. It's like, oh no, it's Robert! And it's just like my cat.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, like, fucking feed me. Come on.
Right. It's like, where's the food? Where's the food?
Yeah.
So this was haunted dolls and a creepy island in Mexico with probably some haunted dolls.
Yeah, they're definitely haunted. There's
For
definitely
sure.
some ghosts there.
Yeah.
Probably some little kid ghosts
Definitely.
looking to play.
Well, I mean, the little girl who drowned, she's probably still there.
She's probably still there.
Playing
So
with all
if
the
you
dolls.
if you do go there, please be respectful to her and her dolls. All the other haunted dolls can go fuck themselves.
Be careful. Tonight something's
Shit,
gonna
yeah.
go wrong.
But I respect them and all of their power.
Yeah, sure.
Just need to add that in.
Yeah, okay.
Don't forget to get in touch if you have any creature questions for us that you need some advice for. Are we saying what we're calling it?
I was
Emily
trying to
came
keep
up
it a
with-
secret, but I think we should just spill the beans because that makes it more fun for people.
Yeah, because people are like, do I send them a real question or?
You're right.
Yeah, so the segment is Emily's brainchild, and it's Creature Council. Isn't that what you called it?
Yes.
Creature Council. So if you send us a dilemma, it could be a love dilemma, it could be a job dilemma, a friend dilemma. You send it to us, and we will answer, or we will get the answer for you from a cryptid or a creature. Is it of their choice or of our choice?
We're gonna pick a name out of a hat, basically. So
Okay.
you could get an answer from Mothman. You could get an answer from a siren, a fairy.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I would like to get relationship advice from a siren. I think that would be hilarious.
That would be really fun. So if you write to us and you have advice that you want answered, it will not be answered by us.
Mhm.
It will be answered by a fun creature. So we don't have any control over what they're going to say.
It's just put out into the abyss.
Yeah.
So yeah, please do send them in to us in our email. Get in touch by anything in our link tree. You heard the whole spiel at the start of the episode. We will be back again soon with some more fun extra content too for October. So keep an eye on your feed for that. It's going to be fun.
We're also planning we're calling it like a slumber party.
Mm-hmm.
We're going to do a live event where we tell spooky stories, get people creeped out, have hot beverages, or maybe a cold beverage if that's what you choose. But we're going to have recipes, we're going to have a bunch of cool stuff. So if you want to join us for there, just stay tuned because we're not fully sure when we're going to do it yet, but it's coming. So if that sounds exciting, keep your eyes peeled.
Yeah, if you're like looking to get into the Halloween spirit and maybe you live somewhere that there's not a whole lot to do with Halloween, or maybe your friends aren't really into it, you can come hang out with us. We'll be your Halloween buddies. Because we love all that shit.
We do.
And we have to do this remotely because we can't do it together. So that's the joy that everybody can join in.
Boo.
Boo.
Someday we'll record an episode together.
Yeah,
like in the
someday we
same
will.
room. That would be awesome.
Mm-hmm. It would. Okay, so thanks for joining us. I've been Neve.
And I'm Emily.
And
And
fuck yeah, folklore.
Woo!
Bye.
Bye.
Be nice to the dolls in your life.
Yeah, treat them well, brush their hair, give them nice shoes.
Also lock them away in the attic if they're weird. Okay.
Okay, bye. Let them out!